Oh, hello. Am I back? Why are we saying no, I'm sorry? Is everyone well? Hello. I'm back again. I think changing the resolution on the game was a red herring. I believe the game just is crash prone, which is a shame because I got that one specifically to stream. I thought it would allow me to wander corridors while having conversations. And I thought we were getting into a good flow, you know? I was denying the existence of phobias, trying to sort of backpedal. I felt like we were in a good groove, you know, we were in the pocket. We were surfing. But now I don't know what I have to stream later than normal. I have to tucker myself out. I need the cognitive overwhelm of the stream. I need to be tethered to this device for at least until midnight, not game door. Josie, you don't even like game door. You don't even enjoy game door. Game door does nothing for you. What else is on the docket? What do I have? I really thought that was going to be a stream game. Have you done the animal? Talking about red. Listen, uh, a lot of people say things in the chat that I just don't understand all the time. People who are otherwise really coherent will say things like, "Have you done the animal?" And often I think it's just a sentence is missing like 2 words for me to understand it. Yeah, the guess the animal one's actually really bad. Have you done love? I am in love, if that helps. Have you done the minute cryptic? I do that with Jam, and that's our kind of ritual. The minute cryptic is a good stream game, but it's wedded to another. What do I have on here? I have a little thing on Steam of like stuff I've said could be a stream game. Oh, this could be something. Yeah, we're gonna pop into a bit of geometry. Yeah, we've done zoom out. We've done a bit of zoom out. Zoom out's a good time. I'm gonna load up file structure, and we'll just see how it is. If it's too aimless, I might bounce off, but we'll see how we go on. Oh, and I need to now change the stream tag off of echo. Ah, that's a shame. That's a shame about echo. I felt like we were going to have a time there. I felt like that was going to be cruise control. Okay, tags. Oh no, that's not what I want. I want category, not tags. Polls. 6 followers. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know you're streaming the right game when it has 6 followers on Twitch. Okay. Video game music. Shifted over. Video game video. Shifted over. Now we're talking. Can I change the controls to my preferred controls? Jump. Toggle free cam. Y. I'd love to. Move up, move down, move faster. Great. Save and exit. Can I just say, I don't know what this is. Oh. It's got a bit of an ice level feel to it. I think it's just about being in a structure. Oh, okay, you can die. Okay. Oh. I can't stand on the tree. Am I an ant? Reverse how? What do I want to do? Now, there's a chance this is not a game with an objective. And that's fine. Ah. But it is quite nice. There's a good sense of momentum. It's like peak. Yes. In that it involves A lot of verticality. Can I slide down this like a monkey ball? God, I could go for some monkey ball. Maybe I should... You know, I think someone made a thing where you can play monkey ball in browser. I could go for some monkey ball. Jumps are making... Oh, do you have that thing? I feel really bad for the people who get that kind of sympathetic motion sickness from like 3D first-person games. Oh, is this what I'm supposed to do? This development update. Goran seems to have gone quiet lately. I was trying to catch up with like his latest projects. He's not working on things, but I kind of hoped that that his latest game would get more content. I felt like it was released in an unfinished state. That was a feeling I had. I don't know if anyone else felt that way. And I think it's a shame if he's given up. But, you know, people have to do with what's right for them. Thanks, Crispin. I agree with you, if that helps. Let's go a different route. Oh, well, hang on. How am I supposed to know what's a death jump and what's a normal drop? Like, is this a death drop? Death drop is based on relative distance falling. No one should go to the Isle of Wight? What's wrong with the Isle of Wight? Why can't you just be a little island? I feel like I've wished I'd spent more time on little islands. I haven't really done it. I just think Albert would like a garlic farm. I like the smell of wild garlic. I think Albert would do really well at a monastery. Oh, I forgot. He loves to come. He can't just like be quiet for a while with the monks. I've heard good things about the garlic farm. What are we talking about garlic farm? Your most public and violent meltdown was the Isle of Wight. Like at the Isle of Wight. Or the Isle of Wight was a result of your meltdown. Wild garlic is so good. It's also good to eat, right? Like, there's no point like growing it for food. It would just be a smell. Okay, okay, now time to think. It's so ice level, you're so slidey. Alright, let's go gentle. It's very tasty, or even better. It makes a pesto. What clue is in the name, Burns? Wild? Does wild mean you can't grow it for food? Or like a wild rabbit you can't eat? I hated being told I couldn't leave whenever I wanted. You had to rely on a ferry. So you wouldn't like places like Linda's Farm and stuff like that, with like the tidal, little tidal islands. Because they're kind of scary. You spend the whole time like just scared of not making the crossing. There's loads of wild garlic in Endcliffe Park. You still spending time by Endcliffe Park, huh? Linda's Farm mentioned. Whoa, whoa. Oh. Oh. That's not intended. New exploit just dropped. Do you think I can walk on this? I'm at the grass. You know what? This is good. What kind of places can you not leave, Lucy? What's a normal example? Because normally you can leave anywhere, can't you? I thought you can always leave. I thought you could always hit the bricks. Earth? I think some people have left Earth, Lucy. Not to mansplain some key moments from the 20th century. But you're right, it's hard and it's expensive and... I'll leave Earth. Yeah, alright. Yeah, alright. I have to concede you can't easily leave Earth. Can't leave bed. It can be tough, but no one's telling me I can't do it, I guess. Like, I think I'd hate to be in prison because when I get to the door, someone goes like, sorry, I locked that. And I'm like, oh, you locked it. Like a person did this to me. Whereas, I don't know. Like, do we all agree that something bad happening because of like a natural cause is better than a person doing it? Like, if I got killed, I'd rather it was by a volcano than by like some horrible sod. You know what I mean? Like, to me, the volcano is better. And some people might go, dead's dead, who cares? Well, I care a little bit, I think. I care a little bit about the circumstances of my death. Burnsoid, I don't agree. You're saying it's easy to leave Earth? What do you mean? Talk me through it. Let's say you've been given a mission to leave Earth, and it doesn't matter if you die or not. Talk me through that. This is a good time, you know. This is a good stream game. POS won't let you. I don't think you leave Earth by dying. I thought we were all atheists here. You're still on Earth. You're just dead. Like, if you put in your will, I want the body to be like sent out into orbit. Sorry, buddy. That's really expensive, isn't it? I would understand if my family and friends are like, should we just put him in the ground? Should we just burn him into ash instead? I think that's fair enough. Should we just put his body in the fire, like we do with everyone else? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, Crispin can't even leave Lincoln. And also, if it helps, and this is important to emphasize, Crispin, nothing you do to your body will make you leave Lincoln. Well, apart from put it on a on a bus or a train or a car, I guess. I'm not sure of the way. Oh, maybe nothing's like nice and flat. Nothing's like horizontal. Oh, whoa. Okay. No, not on top of. No. Wow, and I'm all the way back up here. Do we like this? Is this good? Is this got a nice feeling like watching an old Windows screensaver, but with like way more tense feeling? Way more pit of the stomach action. You need to leave the chat because it's become toxic. Alright, see you, Burns. We're too toxic for Burns. Listen, next stream we all have to be nice, I think. I think next stream is going to be dedicated to phobia acceptance. I need to turn my reputation around. I don't think I've been unhinged. I was way more unhinged on the last game. I think I've turned it around now. I think I'm pretty agreeable. This is very true. No. Yes. Since when can I climb? It is peak. Do you know they did a peak update recently that means that if you join at the top of a peak after they've hit the statue, you won't necessarily be a ghost. You can come back as a person because it reasons that you'd have been a person if you'd just joined just a minute earlier. Down peak, yeah, they could call it keep. Key app. Scorpions are good, yeah. I was thinking, this might not be popular, but I think the next friend slot game to play is Mickey and Donald's World of Illusion Genesis 1993. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the play, honestly. I was wondering if I was trying to think about who the 2 funniest people in chat would be to get to play that. I don't have a phobia of pixels. I misunderstood a pixel as one of my phobias. Whoa. Okay, and then if I can just wishful thinking. If I could just bounce well enough. Let me just bounce well. Okay, I bounced well. I haven't got a clue where to go from here, though. I can't stay on here very well. All right, what do I have to do to climb down from this phobia thing? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. If you're bouncing too much, you get more drift in the air, so you have to jump. I feel like I should jump onto that little... Oh, God. I've got no choice. I've got to go somewhere. If I can just get onto this... Oh, no, I'm bouncing too much. Hey, can I stay here? Can I stay here and think? If I just... That was a bad call. That was a bad call. Oh, it's good, though. It's a good game. It's a lot of fun. Ow. And I'm probably going to get faster, you know? Be a bit more reckless. This is free as well on Steam. Oh, God. This is pretty good. I didn't feel like I should have died. Do you worry about the void when you complete it? What do you mean? Oh, do you get sad or feel empty when you finish a piece of media? I sometimes get that. Jam in particular is kind of notorious for not like finishing things. She'll get really close to the end and then I guess subconsciously find reasons not to have the last bite, you know? Which winds me up to no end. I think you should see the conclusion. I think if you really like the thing that you're going to get sad about missing, that last morsel, they probably put a lot of thought into that bit. Is it multiplayer? Is what multiplayer? This? I don't know. I don't think so. If this was multiplayer, game of the year, I think. At least a game of my year. At least one of the games I would play this year. I think your death is the speed of your fall. Let's put that to the test. Let's put that to the test. So if I slide across this, I don't think I managed to break my fall. Yes, because I kept my momentum. I didn't fall as far, but the speed was bad. But if I slow my speed down and then jump, maybe, who knows? Who knows what the truth is? Who cares? Finishing Baldur's Gate 3 on honor mode left me a husk. I had a skill I developed that was now redundant. Do you not think that... Well, I mean, it could definitely apply to other tactics RPGs. It will definitely apply to the next Larian Game Studios game, surely. I mean, it's not going to apply outside of playing games, but... Oh, I don't know. What more could you want, really? Like stopping to think about things, I don't know. I mean, that's transferable. There's transferability built into this. I think games taught me to stop and think about things. I play a lot of games on hard because if I'm not forced to stop and think about things, I don't really take anything in. It all just drifts over me. And that's transferable, I think. I think it taught me to take a breath, not to click too soon. I remember Mono sighing endlessly at the way I'd play games, but I'm a lot better now, I think. He used to laugh into his coffee when I'd play Metal Gear Solid 2. He hated the way I played Cannon Fodder, you know, and I grew up through that. I can take things slow now. Look, I found a whole new area. The old me couldn't have done that. Thinking is bad, though? I see where you're coming from, honestly. You wouldn't believe how sympathetic I am to that position. I tell you what, I'll meet you halfway, right? I'm using the word thinking, but it's a shorthand for something else. Taking a breath isn't bad. Thinking, it's contextual. Don't always bring that out. It's not the Swiss Army knife people think it is, I'll tell you that. Taking a breath, though, kinda goated, honestly. There's never really a bad time for it. And genius mode. And the wisdom haver has logged on. Let's go. Let's go. This is the run. I've been thinking of playing, do you know, and there's a weird friction that I think lives at the heart of every live streamer where, like, mine in particular, I guess, because I came in through, like, people who knew me through comedy, where my audience has a bunch of people who like games, but also a bunch of people who just like chatting. And most of the time you can be both, but the emphasis has to kind of switch between the two things. If I talk about games too much, I lose one half. And if I just chat, well, actually, to be honest, if I just chat, probably everything's fine. But I like games. I like playing games. I'm kind of insistent on finding space for that. And so I've been thinking, like, it'd be really good to commit to like a big playthrough of like a series that's actually very good. And I was considering Metal Gear Solid, but this time I do like a full pacifist run on everything. And it'd be a big commitment. I probably will never do it because I think my streams are probably best when I feel I've got license to stop doing anything when I get bored. Oh, I'm dead. No, I could grasp the... Come on, Mono. Obviously, I understood the concept of stealth. The game is famously quite fiddly. You play Metal Gear Solid and see if it goes better for you. Until you've, like, locked into the way it wants you to play it, it's hard. And yeah, and on top of that, I was very impulsive. But I'm good now. I'm quite good at stealth. I'm slow. I think because D&D proceeded to fuck the base rules right after, and the two compounded and my special interest was now bad. Yeah, I guess I've never had the special interest is now bad because I'm a special interest surfer. I'm always crossfading between special interests. And I think I know that people can't choose to do that. You don't choose your special interest, something just grabs you sometimes. But I do feel particularly bad for people whose special interest is like an intellectual property. It's like a franchise, it's like a commercial entity, and then it gets unshitified, and then what can you do? If you did have any control over special interest development, it should be like digging or knitting or something, or drawing sketches of like birds. I think no one could ever take that from you. Special interest going back, I empathize. I've not experienced it, but I empathize. I feel like a lot of social media is the collective wail of people whose social media are becoming unshitified by the interests of capital. And I feel like it must be reductive and not useful advice to be like, don't allow your special interest to be someone else's intellectual property because they can destroy your life. I don't think that's a decision anyone gets to make. But if they could, I strongly recommend it. Like the people who are like flowers or something. You know, no one's going to take flowers away. I mean, I guess people are taking everything away. People will take everything. Oh, Funky, you've set yourself up for... But you can develop interests. Like, maybe never say never. Maybe the special interests... Whoa! It's really hard out there. This game rules. This is the ultimate stream game, I think. I love that I can just flip between focusing on the conversation and then focusing on running down. This is hitting me just right. This is how the games need to feel for me to stream them. See, I remember when lockdown started, and whoa, when lockdown started and people started doing like wholesome streams, like people did streams of doing craft work, people did streams of doing drawing. And I remember being like, I don't have anything like that. I don't have like a nice hobby that involves your hands, that you make something. I was too softwarey. I've always been quite jealous of the crafters, of like physical makers. Even people who like paint figurines, where they're not like, they don't own the idea of a space marine, but they're like doing something with their hands. You can pitch up in front of the TV with a cup of tea and like complete a discrete thing. Oh, well, jigsaws, yeah. I'm a 40k guy. I have it in me. I know a decent amount of 40k lore. I think it's a funny little world. I think it's an LMAO. I do worry about how in the 40k world, a lot of the iconography is like always being co-opted by the far right, and you'd probably need to police the borders of the fan space with insane, just with insane. Wallhammer -1. +1. Oh, I see, jigsaws. Do I have an opinion on jigsaws? I am too ADHD for jigsaws. Let's just put it that way. At times, that makes me want to say that jigsaws are boring. But at times, I've enjoyed jigsaws. But I can't enjoy them to completion. I can enjoy them for a bit. He's just jealous of hand hobby? No, Legos are just a contrarian thing. Whenever I think anything's too big, I think I need to redress the balance. Lego shouldn't hold the position it does in society. Something else should. Although, saying that, that's not fair. That's not fair. I was just running down a slope. The puzzle piece emoji makes you angry? Yeah, but you can't take it out on jigsaws. It's just like, now what? Isn't that everything? Don't you ever feel that way at the end of a book or a film? I'm gonna start putting something to watch on my phone so I can watch stuff on my phone on the exercise bike at the gym. I've decided the exercise bike is just the way to go. And I've I felt bad, worse than normal, not going to the gym lately. My sleep went really bad. I just didn't have the energy. But now we're all on this app where we encourage each other. Being off it's like, uh-oh. It's highly visible I'm not doing it. But I really want to start putting in I want to go at really unpopular hours and put in like decently long stints on the bike. Because I've started reading about your heart rate stuff. You're going to get Quibi. I'd love Quibi. It's not still going though, is it? What do you do with the finish? You smash it, don't you? Isn't that the point? You're building something smashable. Does the gym have a Jacob's ladder? What is that? I don't think so, but oh god, oh god. Now that I know what's going on, I wonder what I can do going this way now that I understand a little bit better. Hell yeah. New route, baby. New life. Oh, new god. New death. The ladder, that's a treadmill? Oh, I don't think we have that. I've been on the elliptical a little bit. Man, the elliptical is like twice as strenuous as anything else. I don't know what muscle group making it so hard, but I can't stay on that for like as long as I stay on anything else. I like the elliptical. It took me a while to understand the form. It took me a while to understand that you're really not supposed to be like actually putting half the work into your arms. It is mostly a legs thing, and the arm stuff can help stabilize. Because when you're trying to be like half arms, half legs, it's it's really awkward. But the thing I like about the bike is I've got a real tendency to like go too hard on anything. But like it's better for your cardio to do like less and longer. I mean, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing like high intensity or whatever, obviously have a higher intensity. But the joy of the bike is, as long as you occasionally check that your heart rate's in the right zone, it doesn't matter what you do after that. You're not pushing for anything above your targets. You can just watch telly on your phone. So my conundrum, therefore, is what stuff can I put and watch on my phone that I won't in any way be embarrassed to let other people see? So it probably needs to be people talking. I don't want people to see me watching Babylon 5 on my phone at the gym. I don't know why, I think that's embarrassing. I don't want people to see me watching any cartoons or anime. That can't be on my phone at the gym. It needs to be like respectable people talking. You want to exercise more? Do you want to get the gym app so we can bully each other? I saw someone watching anime while walking on the walking machine. Yeah, but were they already in shape? So I think that matters a lot. Someone out of shape watching anime is a very different proposition for someone who's like toned, young and fit watching anime. And even then it matters what anime. You can probably go and watch, what anime can you watch at the gym? I don't know. If someone was watching Cardcaptor Sakura at the gym, and they're a girl, I think, yeah, cool. But like, you can't watch Neon Genesis Evangelion at the gym. Not saying that I want to, but that's like an example of an anime you can't watch at the gym. Farscape, could you watch Farscape at the gym? No. No, you can't watch Farscape at the gym. That's like, that's, if I said you can't watch Babylon 5 at the gym, that surely rules out Farscape. Into one of the Tokyo Mew Mew types. What's that? Did it have a harem theme? Then no. Can't watch Tenchi Universe at the gym. You can't watch Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Oki at the gym. Catgirl stuff. Yeah, you can't. Well, what's the demographics of the person watching Catgirl stuff at the gym? There's still a world where it's okay. Because you got to combine, you know, you got to combine subject and object, the watched and the watcher. Only then do we understand the dialectic. She seemed like early 20s. Yeah, what can you do? I think we've got to give her a pass. And trust me, that's not in my nature. I'm becoming really socially conservative. I don't believe anyone's genuinely afraid of anything. Sean has ignored my very good idea. Would you like me to watch something and describe it to you, but I have graphs in the background? Is this a very good idea? Do you mean like you'll make that as a video that I can watch on the exercise bike? I mean, yeah, I guess. But it needs to be at least half an hour long. I need to do at least a half-hour sets. Oh, you do like what? Something that's like I can't be bothered to do myself, like Brothers Karamazov. Would you give me the full rundown on Chekhov's The Idiot or something? I would love to have read more Russian literature, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. So would you be willing to be like the go-between? I'm going to go another way. I find the way I'm going hard. I want more than the wiki synopsis. And I do trust you not to use AI. I don't know, I think you're offering something too big. I think you're offering too much here. What's in it for you? I guess your special interest could become helping me. That's almost symbiotic, except you don't get anything from it. Just peering over the edge here. Can I? Oh, it's not going to go well. I don't know where to go. Well, I'll just go a different way. You have a Chekhov special interest already. I once received a little one-on-one lecture about the theatre techniques of Chekhov from Birthday Bread Man. And it really unlocked something. I haven't put them to use as much as I should. Oh dear. What do you like about Chekhov, Funky? What do you mean, Red? I'm completely the other way. You want to have a garage full of tools, just in case. Doesn't matter what it is. My granddad used to bring home all kinds of stuff. Like screws, wires, rubber bands. And when queried, he'd go, you know, we might need it. Might need this rubber band. That's how I treat my own relationship to my own interests. Hello, Zap. He thinks everything was invented in Russia? I guess some things were, but probably not most things. Chekhov does not you? Chekhov does not you. Oh, yeah, I understand. I just didn't know of a better way to respond to what you said other than to evaluate the content of what Chekhov seemed to think. Can I live? No. It would be so good to win here, I think. This is a better way down. I think that much is certain. What's the general misapprehension about Chekhov's gun, Funky? I thought people knew it. That your foreshadowing has to be paid off, otherwise, you know, why were you foreshadowing it? Yeah, if you have a gun, you should never fire it. That would be too interesting. That it's a gun that will go off in Act 2. It's not that. I'm not following you. There wasn't. It was little. It was a little adage. He said like, if in Act 1 you show a gun on the wall, then by Act 2 it must be fired, or something like that. But obviously not, because you're telling me I'm wrong. Oh, oh. You really are quite bouncy in this. What I know that Chekhov went and tried to do some anthropology with the Sakhalin people who live on like either a peninsula or an island on the very east of Russia. And I read his account of living with them. And the thing he said that I found the most interesting is he said that they refused to use roads. They refused to use any paths that were made by other people, because their reasoning is that that person wanted to go where they want to go, and I want to go where I want to go, and I don't want to end up being them, you know? I really have lots of reasons to doubt his account, and I think it's quite fanciful. But the idea of a society that just has rejected roads in the pursuit of freedom and individualism, I just think that's fun and interesting. But to be clear, I don't think it's true. Sakhalin is quite fascinating, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I'm going to try an even harder route, I think, because I'm not happy with the route I'm taking now. I want to see if I can find any way down to a lower branch that doesn't kill me. Oh, it's not easy, though. It's not easy to be alive. Okay. Well, I think I can do that. I think if I... It's about not introducing anything substantial without a payoff. It's not so much that it's a gun. It's that if you bother to waste time and words discussing the gun, if you had no intention of using the gun, it should never have been brought up in the first place. Yeah, it's the reason JJ... Funky, I think people understand Chekhov's gun just fine then. That's exactly how I understood it. You shouldn't foreshadow something that doesn't pay off. Yeah, I think everyone understands Chekhov's gun. What's the misapprehension? I guess maybe some people thought he literally and exclusively meant guns, but I think they're in the minority. I think people get it generally. Don't die. Nearly. That is a quicker way down. It seems a little bit less, what's the word? Like secure, definite. Oh, Lord. I tell you what, falling feels like a bad way to go. IRL. They don't. People as a whole, people think it's either the concept of foreshadowing, it's literally a gun. That's true. Good night, Fluff. But it is the concept of foreshadowing, Funky, isn't it? You're saying, like, if you invest a lot of time on something substantial, then that has to be... It's saying, like, don't emphasize something substantial for no reason. It should be involved in the plot in some substantive way. That's foreshadowing, isn't it? I don't know. I guess I've never heard the misapprehension you're talking about. But I know that people like to just reference it in a pithy way, so maybe a lot of them don't really know what they're referencing other than gun mentioned at one point, gun fired later. Oh no. Yeah, thanks, Luke. I do think that everyone understands this. I don't think this is a... When you said there was a popular misunderstanding, I was like, well, mine is the popular understanding because I've seen the way I think about it referenced so many times. So I'm probably going to go to school here, but I think what you've explained is the consensus understanding. That's really funny, Josie. Chekhov's whole thing, aside from being like a famous author, was he loved to play a game where he might get shot in the head. Chekhov had this thing he said that he was quoted on. That he said, yeah, it's like what Zap said. It was this little prosaic thing, and I don't really know the origins of it. But he said that if there's a gun on the mantelpiece in the first act, then by I thought it was like by the end of the second act, it must have been fired. Which I took to mean if you're like going to set up something that seems intriguing and important, and why is the author directing our attention to this gun on the mantelpiece? Then like you can't just forget that's there. That has to be paid off in some way. That has to have some significance. People do know what Occam's razor means though, Funky. I don't know. I do think I maybe move in a rarefied circle of like completely autistic, slightly overeducated freaks, and I will cop to that, you know. But I don't think people misunderstand Occam's razor at all. That's like even easier to understand than Chekhov's gun. I don't know. I just don't relate to what you're talking about. Isn't that just a red herring? It's specifically in the context of a mystery, you could say it's a red herring, but Chekhov's just talking about storytelling. You shouldn't... Let's say you're telling a story and an orphan boy goes to live with his uncle, and his uncle says, well, welcome to the house. Enjoy. You've got the run of the place, but don't go behind this big red padlock door with the smoke coming out underneath it that's always pulsating red light at night. For reasons I won't go into, I actually prefer you don't go in there. And you're like, oh God, there must be something behind the big red pulsating door with smoke coming out of it that glows red at night. You know, I can't wait to find out what that is. But actually the story goes on to like talk about how he collects tadpoles and how he got over the loss of his parents. And it's really more of like a pensive mood thing. The door never comes up again. You get to the end of it and you're like, what the hell was that door there? What's going on? Chekhov's advice is don't do that. Don't spend all that time on that weird door and then not refer to it ever again. That's, buddy, that's weird. You've written a strange story. As a general principle, don't do that. To be fair, people do misuse Occam's razor. Well, to be honest, Zap, I do think that is like not out of line with Occam's razor. Like, an argument against the truth of something is that it's very complicated and unlikely. If you're choosing between explanations, I think this one's really complicated and unlikely. I think I think that's kind of what Occam was getting at. Old William of Occam. You don't have to deal with the general public to the same extent. Yeah, it's possibly. I'll say I'll cop to it. I'll cop to it. I might move in a rarefied echelon of smart asses. It's entirely true. But I'm not that divorced from the public. I don't know, maybe I am. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's a conundrum, isn't it? Occam was only talking about situations where all of the evidence is equal. Yeah, it's true. You're not wrong. I'd argue you remember the public. It doesn't feel that way sometimes, you know? See, I feel like I am a member of the public, but I can understand why you'd want to disqualify me. What do you mean, see also Pavlov's dog? What's the misunderstanding with Pavlov's dog? Pavlov's dog's probably the easiest to understand of all of them. It's not a theory. Wow, have we talked about the general public long enough that we're acronymizing it to GP? Feels like we're really doing very crunchy discourse now. I'm a member of the general public, in brackets GP. Hope we don't talk about doctors, because then we're in trouble. New route found? I don't even know if I like Occam's razor. I think the complexity of something, I don't know. No, do you know what? Yeah, you can't avoid it, can you? Occam's razor is pretty solid. If you're trying to think what probably happened, it's probably the simplest thing. Hang on, where do I go? That's death. Ooh, ooh. Oh, down again. You're at M of the GP and you know about, yeah, but you're not normal though, are you? You're not like, who's like a normal guy? Like Danny Dyer or something. Which of the three concepts do you think Danny Dyer would be most likely to like understand? Probably Pavlov's Chekhov. Pavlov's Occam's. No, do you know what? Pavlov's Chekhov's Occam's, I'm going to say. Where do I go? What do I do? Well, yeah, I can never tell who Harry, I can never really tell who's like pretending to be stupid to have a career. But I do think as well, as much as we like, I do think there are plenty of people who are public faces who, I think having a lot of money makes you stupid. I think a certain amount of conveniences atrophies the brain. So I think while you're right, Harry, I think he's daft through other means. Have you seen Jimmy Carr's trying to be a public intellectual now? I think people have really turned their heads at someone who wears a suit. I don't, of all the things to believe in, I don't think UFOs are that bad. Like, I think in a world of anti-vax and all the rest of it, I think we need to cut the alien people a bit of slack. It's not particularly harmful. It's kind of exciting. I'd rather people like are hoping that an alien comes and is their friend than like Hogwarts or something. And you know, aliens is a bit science adjacent, and I think all the other alternatives are like magic. You know, people who believe that a crystal can heal them. Do you know, like Noel Edmonds was hawking like a box that could cure cancer? UFOs is fine compared to that. Do you know about alien communism? Passadism it's called. Does anyone here know about Passadism? Now here's a hoot. Here's something good. It is unclear to a lot of people to what degree the following is a joke, but there was some treatises put forward by certain South American communist groups, I believe South American, I haven't pinned it down more than that, that basically said, you know, we the communists of the world, we want to form a communist state, but it's not possible because there are much larger imperialist states that will shoot us with big guns if we come even close. So our best bet is to find intelligent extraterrestrial life, because any intelligent extraterrestrial life that's like still going must have managed to get beyond capitalism, because capitalism cannot sustain itself, which we know through the writings of Marx et al. And so any hailing of aliens of any kind will advance the cause of communism. Oh, God. And I think that's funny. Oh, I was close to the something. I was close to something there. That's what Deal or No Deal was about. I tell you what really winds me up. I can't watch Traitors. My mom made me watch some Traitors over Christmas. And a little bit of me, if I was going to get cancelled over the phobias thing, I'll really get cancelled now. Which is, when I watched Traitors, I was a bit like, this is the thing you all like? This is your thing? This is what you've been going goo goo gaga over? Because it reminds me a lot. When you say it like that, they don't sound quite as silly. I always paraphrase things I find interesting as a kind of steel man. And things I find silly, I say in the silliest terms. Isn't it just Among Us? Do you know what? The thing with the difference between Traitors and the Among Us is the Traitors takes so many hours to complete a round. That's really good TIL, Lucy. The thing about Traitors that sort of rubs me up a bit wrong is, and I haven't watched enough, but like talking to people who have watched it, who I've gone like, is it all like this? Is that there's a real tendency to like draw conclusions out of thin air, which reminds me a lot of like Deal or No Deal and stuff, and just people, I don't know, it's almost like this weird magical thinking. Game shows are like such good ideas for like entertainment, but like outside of asking people trivia, and it's always like trivia that's like, I don't know, kind of conservatively minded trivia. No one's ever asking like no one's ever asking about like the revolution in Haiti. They're always being like, who was James II's uncle? It's always like culturally conservative syllabus trivia shit a lot of the time, or it's popular culture and stuff I can't do. I don't know songs, I don't know films. And then the Traitors, which feels like, oh, it's one of those social, it's literally just a really famous social deduction game, the famous social deduction game, but it has just been taken wholesale, and now it takes forever. And within it, people are supposed to be like, oh, they did this with their eyebrows, this, like, I don't know. I think the problem with me is that I've watched The Devil's Plan. I've watched The Devil's Plan and it's ruined everything else for me, because I just want everything to be The Devil's Plan. It's the best game show I've ever watched. And it's so good. And when you go back to British TV, like, there's something really deeply anti-intellectual about it, when even like a game show's format would require like people strategizing or colluding or making sense. They're not, they're funny feelings, and they colluded people over their funny feeling about something. I don't know. I just feel all of Europe just are much closer. We believe that Europe's gone through a scientific revolution, but I think most people just believe in fairies still, you know? I think we're still in the age of the big fairy, where now fairies have been replaced by like believing in narcissists, you know? Narcissists are the new fairies. You'd have like, I tried watching The Circle. I just can't quite get over it. Jam's got this thing that I'm begging her to write a long read about, now that she's writing more. We can't have coherent game shows because of Naughty Nick. And now everything has to be personalities and people have to be edited into villains and stuff. You can't have people being like, oh, this is a game. All right, I'll play it to win. They're like demonized by the producers of the show. That being said, in Devil's Plan Season 2, the person who won was a villain, and everyone in South Korea was really unhappy because everyone hated him. But I accepted it. For me, it made the show feel real. The fact that the ending was really disappointing and the guy everyone loved lost and the guy everyone hated won, that made me feel confident in the show's integrity, that the producers weren't like fiddling with the controls. Like a bad ending, at least it felt like reality, you know? Thank you, Harry. Yeah, she's writing other stuff, and it does sound good, the stuff she's writing now, but like, I've got a particular niggle to like see that whole thought fleshed out with a bit of evidence and a little bit of stuff thrown in. It found the common denominator of what I can't handle on British TV. I think it's just like Big Brother set the stage for like big personalities, and then it feels like Big Brother lived to just be like another soap opera that wanted to be written in the same way, but except using edited real footage of people. Someone just has to be kind of villainous, and no matter how game show a game show is, playing to win is like demonized by it. And so if you're being a bit too brainy or you're being a bit too anything, I think no one thinks to ally with you. You make the other contestants uncomfortable. See, in Drag Race, the person the audience wanted to win not winning comes across more as producer meddling. Yeah. I guess here, I don't know enough about Drag Race politics, other than I know it seems to be a bit of a swamp. The show seems mired in controversies. Beast Games is the pure concentration of this. Oh, not quite. I would disagree, because I'm talking about something specifically at the heart of British game shows that elevates individual personalities, whereas Beast Games goes for pure spectacle at the expense of any personalities. It feels very impersonal and quick, and nothing feels very meaningful. Like, I don't disagree that Beast Games is bad, but I think it's part of a different cultural, whatever, pocket, cultural zone. Whoa. Dead. Yeah, whereas again, I would love to just be a walking advert for Devil's Plan. In Devil's Plan, everyone wants to win. They've picked people who aren't necessarily great personalities, but they just would plausibly be like smart enough. A lot of them are just like, I mean, there's just people who are graduates from like posh unis and stuff, and just people who the producers are like, this person will probably be quite smart. And everyone's very explicitly playing to win, and they form alliances. And they're like, I will help you out in this thing if you help me out in this thing. And so you watch the intrigue of that crumble and turn, and people's relationship to the strategies cause personality clashes that feel like really meaningful, I guess. The stakes seem high because the people are playing to win. If everyone's just here to have a night out, then who cares? What do you mean, powerful Khan? Do you think that's why I'm dying? What show are you talking about? Devil's Plan. The Devil's Plan. It's on Netflix for its sins. Oh, I see what you mean, Khan. Yeah, and that's why I'm here again. Wow. Wow. The scales have fallen from my eyes. I probably should pick another way, or at least possibly go this way, but slower. It would be nice, I think, to have succeeded at this in the next 45 minutes. Though I always get here and I'm not sure where I'm supposed to have gone instead. Oh, it's because I bounce off of this. Okay, yeah. All right, fair enough. Your cursor keeps going big. Could you talk more about that, please? Do you know what game I do like? And let me talk about a game show. Not that it's good. It's not that it's good. If I was ever to like rebroadcast an old game show on here, I was rebroadcast Without Prejudice. Does anyone know Without Prejudice? I think it's still on Channel 4 on demand. Maximum size around times. It's exciting. What operating system are you on? Windows 11. There you go. There's your problem. There's your issue, buddy. One series is, I think. And they did it in America as well. Have you watched Without Prejudice, Brad Sandler? Without Prejudice is a show where you watch a panel of random members of the British public whittle down another panel for who should get 10 grand. And I think that's it, or maybe it's 50 grand. I don't know. It's like a large amount of money. And all they do is they reveal a piece of information about all the panel, then they eliminate someone. Then they reveal another piece of information to the panel, and then they eliminate someone. And in the end, they give someone 50 grand, and they go, what are you going to do with it? And at the end, they ask the awarding panel, are you happy with how it went? And often they're like, not really. No. They have a real tendency, I mean, it's Britain, right? Britain, the swamp. So they have a real tendency to like give the money to people who don't need it. They never give it to the poorest person. They never give it to the single mum. If anyone's a bit strange, like one time they had a goth woman who'd like shaved her head off, and she's just voted out straight away. And people can't articulate it. People can't like be honest and be like, she looks weird. That's a weird way to look, so she can't have any money. No one says that, so they nitpick like nonsense in what she said. Yeah, she was a goth. She was a baldy goth. And then sometimes, right, they once gave it to this guy, and they were like, look, he is already quite wealthy, but like he's retiring and he might need the money, and maybe it could go towards helping his family. He did say he was interested in charity and stuff. And then they were like, okay, here's 50 grand. What are you going to do with it? And they're like, I'm going to buy 12 pedigree long hair cats. And then he left, and they all went, oh, we should have given it to that 23-year-old who didn't have anywhere to live. And it's just like, yeah, obviously. Why are you giving the money to people who already have the money? But then I think that about people in Britain all the time. Like, isn't that Britain's fundamental biggest cognitive problem? And then they did it in America, and I think it only lasted, I haven't watched the American season, but what I do know of it is they did it in America, but it's a bit more extreme. And the thing is, in America, people are more like willing to say, I won't give it to them because they are Mexican. I won't give it to them because they're black and I'm white. And the show couldn't continue. The panels couldn't continue. I think a lot of the time they couldn't get to the end of an episode. How do you continue a discussion after that? Britain does love to. At one time, they brought a guy on who like lived in the woods, and his annual income was like less than 5 grand a year, and they didn't give it to him. They're like, oh, he chose to live in the woods. Well, maybe he did, but of all the people who could make 50 grand do stuff for them, it's not the guy who's already got like 3 conservatory extensions on their semi-detached. This guy who lives in the woods. Clearly he wants it if he's come on the show. Just give it to the woods guy. Reward the Tories. I mean, the Tories are struggling, aren't they? You could live for 10 years on it. Yeah. How long, if you got 10 grand, how long, and you weren't allowed to accrue any materials? I don't want to factor rent in. I was just thinking about how long can you make 10 grand last, but I guess if you got to think of rent and utilities, that probably means like, where do you live? 3 months with rent? Yeah. That's why I wanted to factor rent out, because that means the answer's different from someone living in London to someone living in Inverness or whatever. I don't think I know how to form the question I want to ask. I guess all I'm really asking is how willing are you to live on lentils? And do you know what? I like lentils, but I couldn't do lentils every day. Thank you for the company, Lucy. Sleep well. Dream well as well. Good dream can really set you up for the day. See, I don't like being here. I've never really managed. I think I've never got past this bit. I haven't found a good route. I need to go careful. We go careful. Very nice. If it's just red lentils, I never touch red lentils. I never touch them. Oh, yeah. All right. We're honking. We're going. We're living. Can I get on top of that? I'd feel a lot more comfortable on top. Okay. You know what? Oh, I'm not convinced. Can I make it over? No. Oh, no. I'm going to hop to the next one. And then I think, fuck. Oh my God, I'm so bouncy. There's no way. I'm dead. Okay. But I really am getting there. I really am actually getting there now. I see I like green, brown. I'm happy with. I wouldn't opt for brown if I could have green. But they're so cheap that way. That's how you get them really cheap. And you can just soak them overnight. This is how you're saving the big bucks. Is there a lentil hierarchy? I need to be reminded of what they all are. I think in general, oh God. I think in general, green is really safe bet. What about the big grey thing? Well, it looked like it was at a horrible angle. It looked like it was at an unfriendly angle. Yeah, red are all right. I'm not really going to denigrate red. And yellow all right as well. They're all good. What colour was the curry? That might not be your whole answer, but there'll be a clue in there. Oh God, I always die here. I need to put some kind of bookmark into the game. I can't do planning for a different day? What do you mean? You can't plan tomorrow's dinner before the day? Oh, I forgot you're like 24. Yeah, fine, yeah. I've lived like that. I don't think you should feel bad, but you will get over that. But just take it from my reaction of being like, huh? Like, that won't be normal forever. I hate planning food, but I suffer from extreme decision fatigue. You can get past that, though, by just doing like a rota or a rotation. But honestly, even just write down the meals you like to eat into a little thing and then get that thing to randomize it. Like a little app. I have a recipe book. And that's useful. But just like... stuff only go... Oh, God. Indecision killed me there. Sometimes it's nice to just flip open to a random page. You can just make that. I used to eat the same 3 meals most days. Can I learn what they are, Crispin? I won't make fun. As long as they're right. Well, you know me. I make fun, but I'm friendly. I mean well. Sean got decision fatigue mid-jump, do you know what I mean? I can only make decisions about the current jump. Money and autism are basically the same thing, if you know what I mean. And absolutely no bother if you don't. No worries if not. If left to my own devices, I'd just make mapo tofu every day. I wish I could do that, Adamantium. Oh, fuck. There were several times in my life where I decided this is it. These are my meals. This is how I'm going to live. And I could just never stick to it. I think I've never really gone past a week on the same meals. My problem is cooking in and of itself. I've been getting better the last couple of years, but I don't like having to focus on so many steps at once. So many steps at once. Maybe you're... It sounds like you're cooking something kind of complicated if you need to have lots of steps at once. The thing I cooked tonight, the Persian kebabs, there weren't any concurrent steps. I made the yogurt, then I made the mince, and then I toasted the pitters. Never having to juggle too many things. Quite a lot of things. Quite a lot of cooking doesn't require you to have 3 hobs going. A lot of them you can just finish one step and move on to the next step. Well, I'm not here to armchair diagnose you, Crispin, but if it helps, watching this stream is a very strong diagnostic criteria. You're talking about food habits with a guy who's constantly falling down some geometry. It's not standard behavior. Cereal, rice, veg pie. Ooh, a veg pie. What are you having to accompany the veg pie? Or is it just a big pie on a plate? Where do I go from here? You're not telling me I jump on this outcropping, are you? Cruel. Cruel. I can't tell distance. It feels like there's no way I'm getting anywhere. No, this is nothing. This is nothing. Let me back. Let me back up. Cruel. Cruel. I didn't know where to go. Just pie. You just have a big pie. Anang's nice. Rice cooker's very good. I don't have one anymore. I used to have one. And I broke it. I don't remember how. But it was very sad. It was Mono's. He hated it. I got it. And then I broke it. But there were years in between where I loved it. Now my rice cooker's a big pan. And I recommend those too. Great for cooking rice. I'm pretty good at making rice in a pot, and for that reason it's hard for me to justify buying another rice cooker. That and kitchen space is always at a premium. Do you know what? That was too big, yeah. It was bigger than it needed to be. Given I was rarely cooking for more than 2. I use Instant Pot for a rice cooker. You're making me want a rice cooker now. Oh yeah, it's here again. Well, I think there must be a route here. Yeah, I can see how you can get kind of stressed about your rice. To me, I got okay enough at it that I'm not bothered. If I don't cook rice for a really long time, I tend to mess up at it again. So there can be sort of like a restart tax. I am going to take this route again, though. I'm curious. I'm curious where it goes. Wouldn't it be great if we met an NPC? I'm pretty confident there isn't any such flourishes, but wouldn't it be great after all this time we meet our first NPC and they sell us a sword? I'd love to get sold a sword right now. I know it's not going to happen. But imagine just combat suddenly being added. And music. And then we do this. I'm getting okay. I'm getting okay at this. Which thing is a brisket? Which kind of meal is brisket? I hear people say it. Okay. Then here. Brisket is like a cut of beef with a very tender tear part. Ah, okay. I think as a vegetarian, I don't really engage. There are certain words that are just words I hear and I don't think about. They're not for me. New place. Oh no, it's not a new place. I've been here before. And it has this confusing... Okay, okay. I can live like that. Is there... Where is the route? What, down there? What, like this? That's sneaky. Okay. This might be a PB. Are you vegetarian again? Yeah. Yeah, for months ago. Except when I go to Yo Noodle, where I will have the beef bowl. But that's just for like birthdays, or if I'm going to go to the cinema. But other than that, I'm very strict. Just birthdays, special events, cinema. I really want one. Can you tell me how it is you're a vegetarian? Because I went full vegan because of the egg horror and then bounced back from social pressure at Christmas. Well, at Christmas, I have not been that strict. Like, if I'm visiting people and I forget to tell them or whatever, like... But I was vegan for years. I can't remember how many years, but I was vegetarian for many years. Then I took the plunge and I went vegan. Then I had to spend a little bit of time in Croatia and it wasn't possible to be vegetarian. And then I went from there to the Edinburgh Fringe to do a show for a month. And I'm like, I'm not going to start it up now. And then I started eating meat because I was so tired. And then I didn't get my act together again until... Well, last year. So I think one holiday, which wasn't even a holiday, my partner was there to work and I was just there for the sun. Holiday for me, I guess. So one trip abroad just broke my streak for, God, 7 years. That's mad. What are you getting at the cinema? What do you mean? Like, so I'll go and have the beef bowl on the way to the cinema. And then at the cinema, I've started getting toffees. I really think the Grandad sweets are like... I don't care for popcorn enough. It's too crunchy. You don't even make any noise at the cinema. I bring toffees. Really, really smart move. Because you know what? When I'm watching a film, I don't actually want to eat. I just want to fidget. And the toffee is just a way I can just masticate, you know? Just masticate happily and silently. No one's bothered. Oh no! I get wine gums. Yeah, I would too if they weren't rank. Love salted popcorn, and that's fine. Not gonna have a go, but it couldn't be me. I wasn't cooked a Christmas protein this year because air fryers aren't for Christmas and it should have funky. You need to divorce your family If someone did that to me again, you would never get me to talk at normal volume around them ever again. No one would pull that with me. Have you tried just going absolutely insane on your family? But not in the normal way. I mean, like, stand up for yourself. Last time I went to the cinema, I had cider because my mate didn't plan the night well. What do you mean? You had cider at the cinema? How did lack of planning lead to you having a different... Sorry, tell the story with more detail. I need to understand what happened. Yeah, popcorn's not calorific, but like the salt and the sugar isn't nothing. I guess it's not filling, but I don't know. The thing is, right, with a good toffee, you can be chewing for like 7 straight minutes. And maybe I should just get into chewing gum, but I don't know. The toffee's real, you know? The toffee's got substance to it. Toffee's a real thing. Whoa. We had a meal a lot later than planned, which meant we couldn't have any drinks prior to the film, so I had a cider. Yeah. I try not to have a nice drink at the cinema. I really want... I've got a tendency to front load whatever I've got. If I go to the cinema with a nice snack and a drink, and they're nice, I just eat them and drink them, and I've got nothing left, and then the film's still going, and I think, oh man, where are my things? I've had these things for the cinema, and now I've eaten them. Again, this just comes back to toffees. You can't get through a bag of toffees. I don't have the desire, I don't have the means. I'm just not able to. The toffees force the necessary pace. So unk-coded, I think it goes beyond unk. What's the next stage above unk? Toffees are toffees are so good. Mate, if you told me about toffees being like the meta when I was Crispin's age, I genuinely would try and kill you. I would put my hands around your throat. But now that I'm like, I've suffered ego death time and time again at the hands of pure bliss, I see now that the granddads had it right, you know? Granddads are absolutely cracked. It's the popcorn sellers who are mogged. Ooh. It wouldn't let me jump. My feet came off the ground. Gramp? I think I don't like unk. I'd rather go straight to Gramp, honestly. What does mogged mean? I don't know. It just sounds right, doesn't it? I think mogged means to be washed, if you know what I mean. Capiche? Mogged is when you're washed. Mogged just means like someone got one over on you, you got mogged. Or it got mogged. Or you could even say like, my favourite film mogs your favourite film. It's slang. The great thing about slang, and this is me having a go at the kids, right? I think it's good that newer generations come up with their own idiolect and lexicon and stuff. I think that's good. But the only words that get replaced is like to defeat, to be better than, to be good, to be skilled. It's just replacing the same words. Like, the younger generations never come up with new words for like auxiliary verbs or anything, like with or to or and, you know? If a younger generation came along and replaced those words, it would go full Clockwork Orange. They'd have like a proper secret idiolect, and that would be just obviously better. But people, they're just not doing it. What does washed mean? It means to be mogged. I was going to ask what ego death means. Ego death. So ego death actually refers to something you experience on psychedelic experiences, where... Have you ever taken a very, very powerful psychedelic? Because if you have, you run the risk of having an experience where you forget where you end and other things begin. You don't really know where like the limits of the self lie in a way that on day-to-day life is intuitive. I know that I'm distinct from the chair that I'm sitting on. I know that if I hold a cup in my hand, I'm just the hand and I'm not the cup. But if you get really off your face, those distinctions stop being intuitive, and then you don't know what you are, and then you doesn't really matter. If you're euphoric enough, it doesn't matter what you are. And that's ego death. The self stops existing for you in a way that feels palpable. And I'm not saying toffees give me that, but it does let me tap into something. I've ridden a lot of ley lines in my time, if you know what I mean. And I am talking about toffees again. That's not drugs. That's just more toffee euphemisms. Did you see Barnet Council fired someone for being a polygamous worker? Uh-oh, the doomsday clock ticks another tock towards polyamory becoming a protected characteristic. Do you have a special spoon to make your coffee in? What, before I inject? Buddy, my mouth's a whole spoon. My molars are each a spoon. Probably need fillings. Yeah, wash is like when you're cooked. Yeah. The self is a fucking con. Yeah. Brad Sanders rode the oily way. How many toffees have you seen before you start seeing the machine elves? I don't know. It depends how many mushrooms they're blended with. Ooh. I had a housemate who used to dry out his magic mushrooms in the air fryer, but found it notoriously hard to clean. The stuff would just inevitably, like, you'd make a stroganoff and it was just a bit laced with it. Can I live if I attempt this? Yes, I'm alive. Whoa. It's really hard there. It gets really hard. I think if you're a materialist and you're kind of locked into the fact that the self is surely just a lie we tell ourselves. Explain, Zap. I'm really here for whatever it is you're talking about. But before I respond, I want to make sure I understand. Do you ever use chopped in modern parlance? No. I don't use slang. I have normal autism. I don't use slang. Well, no, I probably do. What do I say? I don't use any Gen Z slang. I say core bliming, stuff like that. I say bloody Nora. I say that kind of stuff. On my trip, I forgot why I was floating and why I'm mad, but I did worry I upset someone with my absence. Funky, I don't think you have the temperament to have a good trip. I don't recommend you try psychedelics. I don't think all the trip partners in the world would make sure you have a good trip. It just doesn't blend well with well, with anxious people. And I'm an anxious person as well. It's why I don't take drugs. I had too many bad times. So from one to another, they're probably not our scene. I had a great trip and many since. All right, never mind. just me, man. I thought that would be too hot for the psilocybin. I guess, I don't know, maybe they had a fancy one, they could turn it down. I didn't really fuck with the air cooker, if you know what I mean. With the air fryer. And I do think I've been vindicated on air fryer skepticism. I do think the wind has turned. I don't know, Josie. I actually don't know what's in terms of service to say it, and I'm probably going to hold my tongue, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure. There are certain people here in the community I'd be like, never touch it. But not you. But I also don't recommend it. It's not something... I think when I was younger, I felt like everyone needed to try something. I don't feel that way anymore. Remember, there's lots of kinds of drugs. Some never touch in your life. Some do once, and some you can do, I don't know, every now and again. But was I one of those nevers? Well, I thought you were too anxious to enjoy most psychoactives, to be honest. I thought it would make you really anxious. You have a bit of a melancholic streak. I just wondered how a lot of drugs, unless you were like taking drugs that explicitly make you happy. No, I suspect you won't either. But, you know, life comes at you fast. Ugh. See, my secret is that I'm mostly not anxious, but I feel like I could become quite anxious quite easily. That's what happened to me, yeah, Adamantium. I don't know what happened. Maybe I just got more mentally ill, I guess. And then I also just moved in crowds that kept wanting to take stronger stuff. And I was like, this just makes me really anxious. Like, you used to would just get buzzed and watch a film, and now you're taking, like, you want to go out? I don't want to go out. I want to have, like, 7 Maltesers on my couch. Oh, Zap.exe is really written. Because if you don't believe in the spirit, then, like, our conscious experience casually arises from the interactions of physical stuff. Yeah, I'm with you so far. But there's not really such a thing as a hard line on what makes up that and what doesn't. So like a cup that you're holding is interacting with you in a way that's producing your conscious experience. Yeah, have you heard, Zap, of something called extended cognition? I think it's of like a physicalist handling of what you're talking about here, where it basically says that if you want to lever what we normally refer to as the mind onto all physical stuff, it certainly needs to go beyond the neurons in the brain. It definitely should include like the central nervous system and many other parts of the body, which lever in real time using dynamic systems to like inform our ongoing conscious state. But the other thing it probably needs to account for is everything that extends beyond that, that is like of our making. One example they would look to is like a spider's web. A spider forms its web and then it lives on it, and the signals from the web basically are always at like a limb's reach to the spider, and it's working in tandem with its own web to make decisions all the time. So you could consider the web part of the mind of the spider. And for us, who knows where you draw the line? Like, I use a Notion app to plan a lot of my life. That's probably part of my extended cognition. Probably many little uses and functions on my phone are part of my extended cognition. We have also created a web, yeah. But whether or not that means the self is a lie, I mean, I don't know. The way you were talking kind of equated like the self to some kind of Cartesian sense of some disembodied, extractable, non-physical essence. But like, to me, the self is just an emergent property of all the stuff I've got going on. The stuff that makes me identifiable and distinguishable from someone else. I guess that's not what you mean. You mean like my qualitative conscious experience of myself. Is that real? Yeah, it's an emergent property. Is the economy real? Can you point to it? Where's the economy? Ah, but it is real though, isn't it? Sadly, the economy is real. It's just emerges from lots of other processes, and we can talk about it and make predictions about it. And we can interact with it. No, it's not real. Which, the self or the economy? The economy is real. Is it time for epistemology yet? I don't know. I'm enjoying metaphysics. We do epistemology all the time. I'm not saying classical economics, Funky. Please give me a little bit of credit here. I'm saying the economy. The economy refers to like all this, well, all the productive labor. You don't think productive labor exists? You don't think a factory is real? I think you're thinking of classical economics. But I'm not referring to that, nor did I say it. Or like macroeconomics. I'm not referring to macroeconomics. I'm not referring to the theory. I'm referring to the fact that we can refer to like the collection of transactions of distribution of resources, labor, and money. Have you ever been to a factory? That's key. Let me tell you, you'd hate it. You'd hate it in there. I don't recommend it. Unless you need to pay rent and there is a desire for like screws or widgets, then you might not have a choice. Those numbers are made up. That's fine. A made up number is still real, you know? If I fill a book full of random numbers, that's still a real thing. I guess maybe your bar for what's real is like got more special elements than mine does. Mine is just like we can have a shared like reference to it. What I don't understand is, this is real good 10 to midnight conversations. Surely I could function just as well if the input of my eyes went through my brain to be processed into fingers typing on my keyboard or anything truly seeing. But I do truly see, like there's a reason for that. Let me just think about what you're saying. Surely I could function just as well if the input of my eyes went through my brain to be processed into fingers typing on my keyboard. Oh, you're saying rather than being turned into like sensory data that you qualitatively feel, what if like rather than you actually feeling a sensation of pain or you put your hand on like a hot pan, it just went in as a signal being like, that is hot, do not touch, and then you didn't touch it and you didn't need to like feel and experience. Why is this? Why have you been turned into this feeling machine just to perpetuate the organism that is you? Is that what you're saying? Like, why do we have this set of phenomena that sits atop the biological functions of your flesh machine? I just want to check I've got the gist of what you're saying. Can I introduce you to one of my favorite little theories in the philosophy of mind? It's called epiphenomenalism. And honestly, I wouldn't say I believe it around actual philosophers because they'd laugh me out of town. But here I'm going to say I give this theory a lot of time. So this will go under the list of like things people thought for a bit but don't really anymore, like luminiferous ether and phlogiston and whatever else. But when trying to deal with the exact question that you're asking, some people just bit the bullet, right, and said, I actually think the reality of what's going on is that those, I always bounce off of that, is that those signals go in and then they're processed and the output goes in, and that your conscious reality that you experience isn't involved in any decision-making process. The you that sits atop it and observes it, the thing that feels like the ghost in the machine, that has all the sensations and ponders it all, you don't cause anything to happen. You're like smoke that comes up from the fire. You feel like you're making decisions, but that's only because like the biological signals that are happening on like in your synapses and your neurons make you feel like you've come to that decision, but you're just like you're like another domino chain that comes off the main domino chain, but it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't actually get anything else going. All of that's just handled in its own closed loop, and you're just a little like tail wagging off the end of it. And I kind of like that. The reason is, there isn't a reason. It's just a mutation that came out of the system and it doesn't stop it functioning. So you get to have an individual qualitative experience of being alive. What do you think of that? I think it's quite funny and compelling. No economy, no providing myself, just dissolve into someone and produce sperm. Oh, are you doing anglerfish discourse? Kind of believe that was true before you said it. Well, now you know the name for it. Now you know the Wikipedia-able search term for it, which is epiphenomenalism. An epiphenomena is a phenomena that's just produced as a secondary output and isn't like caused by anything. So that example of smoke, smoke is an epiphenomena of fire. The smoke doesn't cause the fire. Just smoke comes out and doesn't really have anything to do with the fire. I guess the smoke could, if it was trapped, could like could stifle the fire, but you know. Yeah. Not the kind of discourse I thought we'd get into while I'm in the geometry, but I'm glad we did. I have to say, as someone who still spends quite a lot of their time trying not to be cringe, being sort of lured into talking about my philosophy degree, I do think should make me feel really embarrassed. I think philosophy is terrible. I really, really, I really think it's a force for ill. It doesn't have to be, but it just is. It doesn't have to be. In a different society, philosophy could be used for good. Not in this one. Yeah, I'm with you, Zach. I think it's very intuitive, but, you know, I can understand how people don't want it to be true. And therefore, it isn't. And, you know, that goes back to why I think philosophy is not very good. Oh, come on, please let me live. Can I go in here? Yes, all right. And will you let me walk around in here? Why would any dictation software know that word? I'm the only person I know who ever says that word. I'm gonna try a jump. This could be my PB, you know? Hang on, there's no way on hell. No, if I get on this red, I can have a think. New biome. I've never been this far. Could I? Is it even possible? Is it illegal? Yes, yes, yes. I am worried. I am worried. Oh, no. I'm nearly at the green. Could I have done it? Could this really be it? Can I get over here? And then I'm probably safe to fall, but I'm really, really worried about dying, so this is probably safe though, right? There's no lower mushroom than this. I think I could be here. What's epistemic emotism? Emotivism. Is emotivism that just means like... Oh no, I'm thinking of... Hang on, what am I thinking of? I might be thinking of expressivism. What's emotivism? I just assumed you got a generalized degree. Look at that. What great timing. It's midnight. What great timing. You know what? This really was the quest for the perfect stream. This really was the quest for the perfect stream. Look at that. This was a good time. Did you actually love this stream? I still feel bad for saying that phobias aren't real. I was just searching around for something interesting to say. Just because you said people don't want it to be true, so it isn't. Emotional idea that ethics are just emotional experience. Oh, sure. I don't believe in that. I don't... well... That's a big conversation. Let me out. Okay, so look, check this out. Oh. Has anyone else made a structure that I can play in the Steam workshop? Yeah, well... can we most subscribed, most popular, most subscribed? Okay. And then can I access that in game? Open my folder of structures. Am I let in? New structure. This one's a fan-made structure called Opolis. Oh, and it's not nice. I really like getting to know chat and you more. It was nice. I think it is good to do streams where we are just talking. And so, I never know how to get the balance quite right. I've been enjoying the afternoon streams. And the normal gameplay testing is going to continue because that's really is my big project at the moment. And honestly, I think normal games coming along to the point where like some decent prototypes to try and do live seems plausible. Like the game you play when I'm testing it is exactly the same as what people would play live. I think it would be fun live. The thing I'm working on next is, at the moment on normal game, all the rounds work where like the server sends you all something and then that's okay, Darlie Sam. Are you doing this just so I won't call you out? Well, that's it. It can't ever go live until like it just seems really robust. But the next thing I'm working on at the moment, all the games work where the server gives you all the same information and then you send it up. Darlie Sam's playing Deadlock. And then you send your answer in and the server handles that and then that's the round really. But what you can't do is the players can't really interact with each other. And I've had an idea that I think is a good first round. If we accept epiphenomenology, how do we account for the fact that we're talking about it? You might need to talk me through the problem that you're identifying there. I don't see the issue personally. Why can't our body come to the correct conclusion and then our subjective mind, you know, also know about it? Look at this city. I want to be in here. This one's much harder. What was I saying? So I've come up with a round that I think is quite fun, and you probably won't see it for a bit because it's going to be quite fiddly to make, right? But imagine, working title, parlay. The round starts and all of you are given 6 emoji and a score. So let's say you've got a snake, a bull, an octopus, a butterfly, a sun and the moon, and it says your score is 30. And you're like, okay. And you are welcome to try and suggest trades to other people who can accept or deny your trades. But no one knows the numerical values of the individual emoji. You can only find that out by trading it. And so you've got 3 minutes to do your trades and try and do the most advantageous trades you can for yourself, and whoever's got the highest score at the end wins. Could I add Morgov to normal game? Could I? I think it occurred to me to do that. I felt too much like I was ripping something else off. Morgov reminded me of something else. where you have to like guess where people will put something on a spectrum. How did it work? I needed to guess. How did Morgov work? Hello, Grugger Smith. How are you? Thanks, Funky. What? Does that mean you'll see ads? Grugger, you're up really late. Which is fine, by the way. I don't mind. Will this be okay for you, though? You shouldn't be getting blue light at this time, Grugger. should be getting dark orange light. How do you do this one? It's too hard. I'm going to go very soon as well. What else is left to say? What else have I got left on my mind? I think I've said it all. I think I've said beyond what's on my mind. You're about to set your phone to grayscale. You don't do the one where it's really orange. I have to try and pick this apart another time, but like, if we have no input on our decisions, does it make sense for our body to know about the experience that we're having? Well, yeah, because the thoughts that you have must be able to live inside, like, your mind and your nervous system and your brain, right? So, like, that's where the thoughts come from. They live in your body's system. So why is it in any way, all that processing you're doing, it's happening in a physical part of your body? So, like, why is it strange for your body to have those thoughts, but not you? I guess I'm still not following, really. I think I'll never get down to that city. And do you know what's great? I'm not really motivated to. Oh, fucking hell. You just bounce so... I feel like Zap is baked. I think Zap is wired but tired. When you named yourself Powerful Khan, what Khans were you thinking of? Like the Mongols? Or like the Fallout universe? I don't know how you can think about all these sorts of philosophical things without getting a little disassociated. Fallout Khans. God, imagine a powerful one of those. It's not worth thinking about, is it? Very scary. What's this game? It doesn't relate at all to Outer Bodies. I'd say this is a perfectly embodied game. This is like Mirror's Edge for the true dreamers, you know? None of the gloss, all of the fall. Dead. Also, Trek Khan. He was a bad guy, right? He was like a eugenicist super mutant. Oh no, engage with all the words. I thought you were talking about how you're so dictionary pilled earlier. But I knew it. I knew that sometimes people shut the door. And I think that's fine, you know. I think it's okay to shut the door. It's so hard. The planets are so hard. I thought it was hard before, but the planets are so hard. And based on the geometry of the city below, it looks like it's gonna get like easier. So you just bounce. If I don't need to land. As long as I bounce, I slow my fall. See, this is where I want to be. I want to be in the city. Selectively dictionary pilled. Wow, I'd love to live that SDP life. I thought you were UDP, universally dictionary pilled. But it's true, if I see someone talking about like grouting and then they say a word, I'm like, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know all the grouting terminology. Although, I don't know, I've been trying to learn more words about joinery. I think they're beautiful. Learn about lintels. What a wonderful word is a lintel. It's hidden behind woodwork, you know? The most beautiful word you encounter in your life might be like pharmaceutical, you know? You gonna take that risk? You've got a dictionary, everything. Oh, Lord. I should go to bed, hey? I feel like I'm getting washed. And not in a good way. Bad washed. Sullied. One of my running bits at drama school was only using the Cambridge Dictionary for definitions because fucks you Oxford learnt to fucking row. Oh, funky, I've got no what's the word? What's a polite way for me to say that The idea that you comport yourself in allegiance with the Oxford-Cambridge rivalry is disappointing. My problem is I think I've reached a point where I can't add many more things to my brain. Like when I look at words, it's often things I already heard of and had a general idea of definition, but wanted to double check. I'm going to bed now. Got to get washed. Got to get clean. Is that the beginning of Rebecca Back's Friday? You should stay up. No, I'm going to bed. I only do Duolingo when I'm tired, but I've stopped learning Japanese and started doing the same 3-question listening exercise every day because I've min-maxed street maintenance. There's a thing called value capture, which I'll talk to you about later, Zap, and I think Duolingo is the best. It's when something is being quantified and you start engaging more with the quantification as an assessment of value than with the thing itself. Case in point, people who have found ways to manipulate Duolingo to maintain their streak without actually learning the language. If we can all agree on one thing, is that we like picking stupid things to focus on. But I've run out of focus, but the stupid things are infinite. I have to go. I'll see you all later. I'm going to do one more fall to my death, then I'm very, very gingerly going to take my bins out without disturbing my neighbours. Thank you very much for the company. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for the discourse. Thank you for everything. Live well. Stay strong. Do or don't do drugs based on your own personal preference. And live well. I hope it fixes my sleep as well, because I feel cognitively exhausted. I feel like this. This is how I feel. Goodbye.
We see ourselves out.
It's a bit. It is. Fine. Josie's screaming, so I'm just going to check what that is.
Yeah.
Why is
How's it-
everything so hard?
Have I come back at the right time?
Why is everything so hard?
Yeah, it's not fair, is it? This is when you need gentle parenting.
Gentle parent me, Sean. I'm
Listen,
dying.
it's okay to be sad that you're dying, but we can't scream, okay, because there's an echo and people can hear your screams echoing all the way up the mountain, you know, it's scaring them. But I understand that it's not nice to die. That's perfectly reasonable not to want that. It's bad when your body rolls down the hill and hits every branch on the way down. It's normal to be sad at that. Well, let's see who's alive.
See if I can